In 2010, an incident occurred in a school in Panama City, Florida. It lasted less than 10 minutes, but all of its participants experienced the full range of human emotions during this time. The recording of this incident gained a record million views in just a matter of minutes, and this is not surprising, because such stories can't leave almost anyone indifferent. On December 14, 2010, a school meeting was held in a school in Panama City, Florida. At about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the school administration finished the report for the parents of the students, and the hall slowly began to empty. But the members of the school administration were supposed to stay to discuss plans for the coming year. However, one of the people in the hall was in no hurry to leave the premises for some reason. He sat quietly and waited for the other people to leave. When the hall was almost empty, he said, "I have an offer for you." After that, he stood up and painted the Latin letter V with a can of red paint, which symbolized the word vendetta, meaning revenge. After that, the man takes out a gun and says that everyone, except for members of the school administration, can leave the room. After a couple of seconds, he said that the only woman in the administration, Ginger Littleton, could also leave the room. He's only interested in the 6 men in school administration. The man with the gun is Clay Allen Duke, a 56-year-old unemployed man. He previously served 4 years in prison for stalking his ex-wife. In prison, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, but nevertheless he was released from prison a year earlier than the due date. After that, he married a second time. His chosen one was a woman named Rebecca. At the time of 2010, he lived with her in marriage. In the end, all but 6 members of the school administration left the room. These 6 people were left face to face with an armed and embittered man. He appears to be a madman determined to kill innocent people, but he actually has a motive. He holds these 6 responsible for what triggered his desperate act. At the moment, the situation for the 6 hostages seems hopeless, but suddenly an absolutely incredible thing happens. Ginger Littleton, the only woman in the school administration who was allowed to leave the room by an armed man, realized that her colleagues were in a hopeless situation, and she decided to do something heroic. She sneaks up behind the criminal and tries to knock the gun out of his hands, but her attempt, as expected, fails, given Clay's size. However, Clay gives her another chance, to the surprise of everyone, including the already prepared for death Ginger, and he again allows the woman to leave instead of killing her.
Ginger, now she can Ginger. Oh. Ginger.
May I help her?
Yes.
May I help her?
It's all right if you help.
May I help her?
After that, he explained the reason for his rage. Clay said, "I'm going to die today, and so are you. You fired my wife." He explains that his family has run out of welfare money and that the firing of his wife, Rebecca, has broken them completely. It looks like Clay doesn't care which of the 6 to start a deadly vendetta with, so the first person he starts talking to is Jerry Register. Jerry tries to talk Clay out of revenge. He says that he is a good guy, that he has been married for over 40 years, that he has children and grandchildren, that he doesn't need to die today. He also says that he doesn't remember Clay's fired wife Rebecca, and that he is willing to do whatever it takes to get her back to work. Then the chairman of the administration, Bill Husfeldt, intervened in the dialogue. He said he swears they don't remember Rebecca and that it's not something worth dying for. Jerry Register added that only the chairman, Husfeldt, has right to sign the resignation papers, and now all of Clay's attention is turned to him.
Mr. Husfeldt signed the papers, I'm sure, but he doesn't know her.
Then the chairman said something that makes him feel the deepest respect.
Listen, I'm the one that signed the paper, right? Okay. I don't remember and I don't know who she is. But let them go. I'm the one that did it. I mean, they don't sign the papers. I'm the only one that signs them. Will you let them go?
The chairman said he was the only one signing the resignation papers, but he didn't remember Rebecca. He is the only one of the 6 that Clay should be angry with, so the chairman asks to let the other 5 men go, but Clay doesn't care. He had already decided that no one, including himself, would leave this room alive. A shot sounds and the chairman, who has been shot, falls to the floor. Seconds later, another shot sounds, but the next person to get shot is Clay Duke himself, contrary to expectations. The shooter was school security chief Michael Jones. He watched the situation through the half-open front door. He wanted to wait for the police, but after Clay started shooting, the school security guard realized that he needed to act right now. He wounded Clay, who fell to the floor and continued to shoot back to kill as many people as possible, but he saved the last round for himself by shooting himself in the head. It seems like a real miracle, but the only one who was injured in this incident was Clay Duke himself, who was dead by the time the police arrived. None of his bullets hit Mike, the school security guard. And the chairman may be celebrating his second birthday because the bullet that Clay Duke fired at him got stuck in the folder of papers on the table. The bullet didn't reach the chairman. Before this incident, Clay Duke wrote on his Facebook page, "My will. Some people, journalists bought by the state, will say that I was evil, a monster. No, I was just born poor where the rich manipulate, exploit and economically enslave 95% of the population. Rich Republicans, rich Democrats, just as rich, they take turns stealing from us." Later, his wife Rebecca told reporters that her husband's act was a shock to her. She thought that Clay was a cheerful and kind person. In her opinion, Clay intentionally fired in such a way as not to injure anyone. School security guard Mike Jones was awarded a medal for bravery after this incident, but he believes that at least 2 other people deserved this medal as much as he did. The first person is Gigi Littleton, who understood Clay's serious intentions, considered that her colleagues might not live to see the arrival of the police, and selflessly rushed at the attacker, who was at least twice as strong as her. A week after this incident, the bag she used to attack Clay was sold at auction for $13,000. This money was donated to charity. The second person Michael considers a hero is Chairman Bill Hasfield, who was not afraid to direct his attacker's wrath even with a gun pointed at him. In truth, there are several heroes in this story, and it's difficult for us to disagree with this. And its ending really makes you believe in miracles. After all, how else, except as a miracle, can we explain that thanks to which the chairman remained alive?